Building Ghana's future, a place where we build homes for Africa and her children. As always, I thank the Most High God for blessing me with a beautiful day. All right. So today we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. All right, we're gonna be making a reaction video to the KnK squad. Very funny character over here, this lady. But yeah, I've seen a few of her videos, and she always gives me a good laugh. So today she's talking about why not to move to Ghana, right? And she put a lot of information in there, and I think it's good to dissect the information that she's sharing, because there are genuine people out here that are really trying to make this move, and such information, depending on the perspective that it's coming from, can come off scary, and scare a lot of people into not making the move, or dragging their feet, whatever the case may be. So having my perspective, obviously I was born in Ghana, lived in the States for many years throughout my youth into adulthood, and then, relocated back to Ghana. Currently I'm not in Ghana, but, yeah, I think I can share some good information as well to make, give value to what she's saying, and, give a different perspective on how things function in Ghana, so that those that are looking to make the move can have a better understanding of, what she's saying or what the case might be. All right, so we're not going to waste much time. Let's get right into the video. And sorry for my background, I'm not in my normal setting, so the lighting may be off from time to time, but I apologize for that in advance. Okay.
Okie doke. Okay, first of all, where do we start? We want to first start by saying the people who's telling you this are the people who came to Ghana or came to Africa, ran out of money, and they're trying to figure out a side hustle to keep afloat. They want to stay afloat. Everybody wants to. So they said, okay, well.
Okay. I mean, there's some truth to that. And also, in my opinion, all right, some people do it. I think it's some people are trying to make consultation fees and whatnot from this. It comes naturally, right? Because once people get in, a lot of people are already making videos about their journey coming to Africa, right? Not just Ghana, all over Africa or whatever country that they find themselves in. A lot of people are documenting this journey, right? And so when you get in that field of work and you start sharing information online, people naturally want to contact you to get a feel of, getting information from somebody that's on the field, right? And so naturally, you start talking to people a lot on the phone. And I can tell you, sometimes you be on the phone with people for an hour, 2, 3 hours. I've even had 4-hour conversations with people. Sometimes you enjoy talking to those people. They give good information and all of that. But it's a natural thing that happens once you get into this YouTube field, sharing information about a country. People would want to contact you for information. Some just to even have a conversation with you, right? So you find yourself spending a lot of time on the phone, just talking. And I think at some point you just realize, hey, I need to be paid for this, because I'm spending a lot of time and energy talking to people about this country, and I'm not getting anything from it. Yeah, and mind you, when you go to these countries like Ghana or any other African country or whatnot, that's not the United States of America. You're paying a lot of money for these, phone calls, using your data on WhatsApp, chatting to people, video calls, all that. You spend a lot of money doing all of that. So if you're going to be doing it for free, talking to people for 2 hours, on FaceTime or WhatsApp video or audio, and not getting anything in return, then you're basically wasting time, resources, right? And so it's only right that you get paid something for the information that you're sharing, because it's valuable information. People find a lot of value in it. They don't, instead of traveling to Ghana to experience for yourself, they would rather live through someone that has already walked that journey and gather a lot of information that you may otherwise not find online. Okay, and so it's only right that you pay people something for it, right? I know some people charge crazy amounts, 200, 150 an hour, but me personally, if I do it, it's 50 an hour, just to, whatever the reason is, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, you get some money for it. You can put that into, buying equipment. You can put that into buying data for your phone so you can have more conversations with people. All right. So, yeah.
Tell people to move over here, sell them this dream, and then they pay me consultation fees, they pay me tour fees, they pay me moving fees, and I can help them by telling them all these great things about Ghana and how they're going to live their best life. Okay? So you come over here with your rose-colored glasses on thinking everything is okay when it's not. So here we go. First of all, let's discuss housing. Housing is cheap only when you're renting because most.
I'm going to have to stop her real quick. Um, Housing is not cheap, you know, in certain places, right? It all depends on what you're looking for. Especially, most people coming from the United States or UK or any of those Western countries that are considered well developed, they have a certain standard that they're looking for, right? So even in the United States, when you're purchasing a home, you could say, all right, I want a home in, Brooklyn. I want a home in New Jersey. I want a home in Texas. There are going to be different standards. If you go to downtown Baltimore, there's going to be a standard over there. You can't just say, oh, it's all going to be the same price. There's going to be different levels. So if you want something that's, considered luxurious in your eyes, maybe a two-story, 5 bedroom, 5 bath house, you can't expect to pay a very low amount because it's Ghana or because it's Tanzania or wherever else that you're going, right? They have standards over there too. All right. The average Ghanaian will probably not be able to afford a house, in East Legon or one of those prime areas because it's very expensive, right? People have put in a lot of money into these homes and then paid a lot of money for the land in these locations, right? And so they sell very high. Now I know sometimes the prices just don't match the home or even the area that it's in. But you have to remember that it's a different country. They see things differently. Would I pay some of these prices for the homes? Definitely not. So you have to be able to reason what you want before you even make that move to purchase a home. All right. Renting can be cheap, but depending on where you go to, it could cost you a lot of money as well. So if you want to be in the middle of Accra where there's a whole lot of activity going on, you pay crazy amount of money for somewhere that's not even nice. But you could go a little bit outside of Accra and pay, something that Americans would consider cheap, maybe $400 or $300 a month, for a two-story, a 4 bedroom with 4 baths. You might even have a swimming pool in it, but the roads may be bad over there to get to your house, or you're in the middle of nowhere, right? It all depends on what you're looking for. So you have to keep that in mind. It's not that it's not attainable. It's just where are you trying to be at? What location do you want to be at? So you have to keep that in mind. Okay. All right.
Are locals. So, of course, the housing is going to be cheap. They know they make it too high. People are not going to have nowhere to live. They're not really going to have any clients. So they say, okay, well, let's make the rent low so they can just save up their money and they pay us a year and they save up the money through the year so they can pay us for the next year or 2 years. Then, when you go into buying, They know that locals really not buying. Most of the people that are buying are foreigners. People are coming from America, coming from the UK, coming from Canada. They have the money, so they coming over there buying. So most of the time when you see a house in a crop, you're gonna see houses there and you're like, oh my God, that house is so beautiful. I want that house. You're gonna call them and they're gonna say upwards of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800,000. You're like, oh hell no, I'm not living across the street from no dirty cows for $800,000. That's because there's no code. So
Okay, I have lived in Ghana for many years. That right there, I have never seen anyone washing their hair with cow piss. Now, um, I don't know where she got that from, but I have not seen that in Ghana. Yes, there's cows in a lot of places, even in places that may be considered developed, because these guys that rear the cows, they may have been the first people to settle in those areas. And as the place develops, over time they will get push them out of the area. But sometimes it will take a little while, until they get pushed out of the area. So you still see them moving their cows around, town to try to go get them fed. It's not like here in the United States where they have a fence around them and they stay within a certain area and food is brought to them to eat. In Ghana, the cows roam around, walk into areas with greens so that they can feed naturally, grass fed. All right, so it comes at a cost. In the United States, we know they feed them with a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Um, and it's not good for our health. In Ghana, it's grass fed, and unfortunately, they have to live amongst us to walk through the green areas and towns to be fed. So it's something that you will see over there. That's a fact. Okay. All right.
there's nobody regulating the housing market. There's nobody that's doing inspections of these houses. So basically, the person who built the house or invested in this house can sell the house for whatever they want. Nobody's going to tell them they cannot. That's their own prerogative.
That is
So they're going
true.
to sell the house for what they want, and then you, being from another country, come over here and you see how beautiful it is. You be like, oh, I want to buy it, until you get in there and realize it's a nightmare because first the water, the infrastructure is trash. The
Okay.
water may not work all the time. Sometimes you can wake up and there's no tap flowing. And who you gonna call? Ghostbusters? Like nobody's coming to save you, nobody's coming to fix you. So then it's times where you're not gonna have electricity. The electricity goes out. The only way you can
All right. So before she goes a little too far ahead of me, um, Ghana water issues. It has happened. Yeah. I think it's one reason why I always encourage people to go a little bit outside of Accra. I don't know how things operate over there. They probably have boreholes as well. Yeah, they do. But when you go to a place where the house is already built, right? Floors are already done, the compound is already paved and everything, and there's no borehole. It's only connected to the Ghana Water Company. You might face some of these issues where water is rationed, from time to time, um, depending on the area you live at. Some areas they don't have this issue. Some areas do have this issue. Where I live, we have this issue. Water will be gone for 2 weeks, so you would have to order water from the water trucks. They would, everyone pretty much has a water tank in their house to store water. So if you ran out, you order water. They refill you and you try to maintain, use it as little as you can until the main Ghana water comes back, right? So that is a fact. You will run out of water if you end up in one of those places, right? So keep that in mind. It's always good to have storage tanks so that when the water is flowing, you can fill those tanks up, and then when it goes out, you use whatever is in your tanks. All right, that's usually how we get around this system. So it's not the end of all when that happens to you. You just got to put some certain procedures in place to avoid not having water. Okay. All right.
that is to have a generator. Generators cost upward of $3,000. Easy. A generator for a big house, you talking about a plant. A plant can be five, six, seven, $8,000. It's not cheap. Then you need fuel to keep it flowing. Fuel is expensive. Let's not forget the fuel, okay? To If you have a Nissan Versa and you want to fill the Nissan Versa up, it's going to cost you a good $90 to $120 to fill that Nissan Versa up.
Okay. All right. So electricity, power goes out in Ghana. Especially now, it started all over again. It was good for a little while. The last, let's say, year and a half. It was pretty good, at least in my area, right? Um, but power does go out. They do ration from time to time. Um, there are many issues that the government is facing. So one of the good things that you can do when you're making this move is to, um, you know, have a backup power, whether it's solar, um, or generator, like she was saying. In my house, I'm gonna have everything that I can have. This way, that power is flowing 24/7. Okay, so it's one of those things that you have to make, put a process in place, in order not to face those kind of issues. All right. If you go and buy a place that's already built, and they didn't put those procedures like, a generator in the corner or making a line for a generator so you can connect the entire house to a generator. When you lose power, then, you would have to find an electrician that's going to make those things available to you. All right. So there is always a process in place to battle these issues that you might encounter, in Ghana. Not to say, that's the end of it when the power goes out. Usually, if you have the funds, you can make a way, for yourself, to be more comfortable. I know people coming from the West always want to have water flowing, shower with as much water as they want to, have electricity flowing, because that's what we're used to in the West, right? All those things are made available to us, and we don't even have to think about it that your power is going to go out. Before it goes out, they'll let you know a month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks ahead of time before the power goes out. So that those conveniences, it's not available. When you move to Ghana, you'll have the power, but you would have to put certain procedures in place to make sure that it's flowing 24/7, and that's getting the generator, solar panels, and also the ECG, the Ghana Electrical Company, power as well, so that you're always covered. Okay, all right. And then as far as the car she's talking, I'm gonna call cap on that one, because I drive a Land Rover. I don't spend that much money on it. I might spend about 800 Ghana cedis to fill my tank. Driving a Land Rover Discovery. All right, and so it's no, no. That's probably, let's see, 150 is 300, 600. Okay, so yeah, you're looking at maybe $50. You know, $60 at most. It's basically similar to the United States, I would say. Um, but yeah, she's ODing over here for Nissan Versa.
So can you imagine filling the fuel up in a plant and then your electric been going off all week? Not to mention during rainy season of the flooding. The roads are already bad. Then you got flooding on top of that. So you like, dang, I can't even drive nowhere. Then driving is always crazy and hectic. Can you see my frustration? Okay. Like it's very frustrating. Like you like nobody's out here. There's no rules. Everybody can go act chaotic and do what they want.
There is flooding in Ghana, certain parts of Ghana. In Accra, I know they face that issue and they're working on it. Especially I think those gutters and just the planning of the place. Certain areas wasn't planned properly. That's a fact. It wasn't planned properly, so when it rains, um, gutters will clog up because people throw the trash in there and whatnot. And even when there's no trash, maybe the gutters are not big enough, for the water flow, the rate of water saying. But again, you have to do your research on where you're going and that's where it's very important that you talk to people that are there already, so that whatever input they may not even have the answer for you at that time. But if you tell them the area you're looking at, they may be able to assist you to find out if those places have flooding issues and not, or not. So now I'm trying to show you the positive side of talking to people that are there. Because if you were to just move to Ghana without having spent time in the specific area you're trying to buy, and you end up there during the dry season, you're not going to encounter any flooding. So you end up buying a house, and then during the rainy season, you realize, oh man, my whole house is flooded. So it's very important to spend that money to talk to people and find those type of information before you book a ticket to come here, because it's expensive to buy a flight to Ghana. So you got to keep all of that in mind. If you're always thinking about being cheap, 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 um, you end up paying the price somewhere because you didn't, put in the effort to find out information before you made your move, right? And I know a lot of people that are moving to Ghana, they don't have, crazy amount of money. Some people may have, but the majority of people that are moving are just regular, average Americans, that have saved up for retirement or a little bit side business, and they've saved up some money for it. And so, they're using that money to make a move. So they are trying to make their dollar stretch. So they try to cut certain corners or try to be smart about how they spend their money, which is good. But there are certain things you can't bypass. Yeah.
Like just running amok. Okay? So that's how they driving. And then you got flooding on top of it. And then you got
Driving
messed
can be
up
a little
roads on top of
crazy.
that. Then you want to get a nice car. The cars are expensive as hell. We talking about, let's say you want to ride fresh, you want a Mercedes Benz. To get a Mercedes Benz gonna cost you over $15,000, $20,000. It's not gonna be like in America where you can just go get you an old Mercedes Benz and you pay $5,000, $6,000 for it. It's not gonna work like that. You want a nice car, you're gonna have to have over 15,000 to get a nice car. And if you want a raggedy piece of crap, maybe 5,000 to get it. But you're not in America, so you're not gonna get nothing for 1,500 or $2,000. It just does not work that way.
Let me step in real quick. So she is right. The driving is a little hectic over there. Mind you, you got cars, you got trucks, you got trotro, which is the public transportation. Trotros are driving on the shoulders of the road because when there's traffic jam, they're trying to get past everyone to make their daily sales numbers, right? So they're driving on the shoulders. You got Okada, which is the motorcycle taxis, right? Or delivery ones. So they're in the middle of the road, they're on the side of the road. They basically go wherever they can see a little gap. I mean, it could be just 1 feet, and they'll try to squeeze these little tiny motorcycles through it to go to the next little spot they will find. So there is a lot of chaos happening around you when you're driving in Ghana. Obviously, we still do drive over there, and God being so good, we haven't encountered any issues, accidents, or anything like that. You just got to be aware of your surrounding and what's going on, and be a defensive driver. Because when you start getting aggressive, like how people will get aggressive here in the United States, most of the time you probably get hit by someone that probably doesn't even have insurance. So you got to be smart about how you move. Yeah. All right.
So the cars are expensive. So you want to buy this nice car. You want to drive on these roads, but you got to worry about the roads, the potholes. And when I'm talking about potholes, you can put 4, 5, 6 mother freaking.
Okay. So yeah, she has a valid point over there. The cars are expensive because the port duties are very expensive to clear your car through customs. It feels like you're gonna be paying the same amount you paid for the car. Once you try to clear your vehicle. So yeah, just keep that in mind. when you buy a car in Ghana, you have to pay those port fees, and whoever is selling the cars, their fees as well. All right, so it drives the cost of vehicles up over there. I would advise that if you are coming from the States or wherever, if you have a vehicle that's already paid for, and it's in very good condition, you might as well just ship it and pay the port fees, and you'll be better off that way than buying in Ghana, right? Um, so yeah,
Negroes inside the hole. That's
the
how big the
potholes
hole
do be
be.
big sometimes.
Tell me I'm
Some
lying.
of them are
Like
huge.
it's a hole by my street, and I have to tell everybody who comes, do not miss the hole, because people miss the hole and fall inside all the time. Their car be stuck inside. People have to help pull their car out of the hole. Stuff that you normally wouldn't see in the West or where you're from, you're gonna see in
There's
Africa.
potholes in the West. Yeah, come on, sister.
It's really bad.
But Ghana is
You're
bad
going to
because of
see
the
a
dirt
lot
roads.
that's going to make it hard to smile in the future. And so you're dealing with that. Then you said, "Hey, I came here because my house. I wanted a nice house, and my house was beautiful, but I didn't know that it was really messed up. The plumbing is messed up. The tissue getting stuck inside the pipes, and the pipes overflowing, and
Whew. Okay, so she's saying a lot in a short time. The housing is nice. You can have a much beautiful house in Ghana that you would have in the United States, or you would be able to afford in the United States. But like she said in the beginning, it's not cheap, but most of the time it's cheaper than how much you would have spent for it in the States. That doesn't say, it doesn't mean that the roads around you is going to be nice. Like you were saying, potholes. You could have a very beautiful house, but the roads around it is horrible. And you usually would not face too much problems during the dry season. It's only the raining seasons that the roads may get muddy and whatnot. So you have to keep all of that in mind. Something gives. You're not gonna have it 100%, luxurious like you would in America. So you got to keep all those things in mind, and pay for the services. If you have a home that you've seen online that you want to purchase or whatever reason, pay someone to go and take a video of the area, so that you can have a better picture of what is around you. You pay those services, you tend to avoid a lot of these problems, because in the videos you will see what is around you, how the area looks, how the area is planned out. The all of this information is available to you, but you're not gonna get it for free. You have to pay someone for them to do this type of work for you. And this is stuff that I do on my own, for other people to view their land that they've purchased, take videos of it, send it back to them, take pictures of it, send it back to them, give them feedback on how the area looks and whatnot. So the services are available. You just got to find people to do the work for you. Okay.
not having taps sometimes, and not having electricity sometimes, and then trying to get the generator, and then the electric bill. That is another monster in itself. Okay, that electric bill. My electric bill is like, for the last 4 months, it's like $3,000. Damn! The electric bill high
Hold
as
up,
hell.
hold up, sister. Come on, man. What are you live in a factory or something? Nah, I don't believe that. I mean, I live in a pretty big house, right? But my electric on a monthly basis, I pay less than $100. All right. Let's say I'm spending about 1,000 Ghana cedis, and that's even pushing it. Usually maybe 800. So let's say 800 to 1,000. Let's leave it at 1,000, which 1,000 is less than $100. You're looking at probably maybe $80 or so. So multiply that, by four. All right, y'all. So that's the end of part one. Her video is quite long. I think about 45 minutes long. So I'm gonna be breaking it up, to 30-minute sections, if not or less, and I'll try to cover the whole thing. More than likely, I might not be able to cover the entire video, but I'll cover as much as possible. This way, I can help you all with information as much as I can. All right, so stay tuned for part two, and don't forget to like and subscribe. All right.